Hey everybody, it is episode 435 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I am here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary. Hard to follow up that high energy intro you gave us there, Brett. Hey everyone!
It's fake. It's fake
What
energy.
is up, Crisis Actors? Hit the like button. That thing still exists. You remember that thing? Anyway, we have Phil on the show today.
How you doing? Phil Labonte, lead singer of All That Remains, and a communist, counter-revolutionary, and far more energetic than the zombie to my right.
Yeah, we were just discussing off air how Mary has a bit of an apathetic tone sometimes, and it's a very tired tone. And I wonder, like, when you're 23. What's next? Like,
that's my favorite
I think
part.
the same thing, like all the time.
You're 23 years old and you just sound over it and exhausted.
I'm not apathetic.
you seen it back when I actually
like-
did do the drugs. It was way worse.
It's like if Eeyore was goth.
I said that Brett is an Eeyore.
Yeah, she calls me.
And-
what did you call me? Generally melancholic.
Yeah, you're just like kind of generally melancholic, but not as neurotic as Piglet is. You're more of a Tigger, Phil.
Me?
Yeah,
Am
more so.
I didn't. I feel tired. I can empathize with feeling tired, but I'm also a lot of years older than you.
Yeah.
They were saying the stream was dead for a second there. Looks like it's back now. So
Not as dead as Mary's heart.
Not quite as bad as Mary's lack of will to live, apparently. I wonder if the stream being killed is because I asked people what they watched last night on television or on the interwebs. I said, did you watch the GOP debate? Did you watch Trump and Tucker? Or did you watch both? And certain people said they watched Timcast
There's no
IRL.
neither option, so what do I click?
Yeah, you can't vote.
Don't bother.
You can't vote.
What if we took away women's right to not vote? What if we did that?
It's way worse.
I'm just being contrarian
You know,
now. I don't-
that will probably solve any kind of inequality between men and women incarceration.
If we want to
they all end up in jail because they can't be bothered to go and do it.
If we want to force women to vote, they're gonna like not want to vote anymore.
Yeah, and then we
Right?
can toss them in
Reverse
jail.
psychology.
They don't vote; they go to jail.
Or no, now like because we like
Prison.
didn't the courts pass like that it was unconstitutional for women not to
Vote?
to enlist. Like when
I believe that did actually happen.
like I
but
love
don't
the
know
idea
details.
that what we do is they have to enlist, so they start making these like, and I made this cute pack, and they start making like weird videos about joining the military. We could do that. There's a $20 one right there from That Stanza-tastic.
Borax, so good. Also, since Phil is on today, can he scream along with a crisis party?
I can. So let's get that crisis party
Yeah.
happening then.
Exactly. That's what we need.
them
Also,
coming.
guys, I did get a great clip of Ian imitating Roberto Jr. that will eventually be integrated into the next crisis party whenever Carter gets done, making that. So if you guys want to,
Carter
push
is
that around.
actually super busy.
No,
Like,
I know.
he's
But I mean,
like-
we put him on this like 3 weeks ago. So I'm just saying, like, because Carter's really busy, what I want you to do is go bother him further and say, hey, what's up with that new crisis party sound?
Yeah,
so
he's
we don't
wicked
have to
busy.
be the bad guys.
Yeah.
He's wicked busy. You know what that means? Get him.
Yeah, bother him. Send him tons of notifications.
Now's the time.
He'll get flustered and just finish it out of anxiety. We got a bunch of stuff to talk about today, ladies and gentlemen. Rachel Zegler, she went out in public the other day wearing song lyrics on her shirt that spoke gravely of the mood she's in because channels like this are holding her accountable for her generally dreadful personality. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about some comments that somebody who used to work for Disney has made about her views on Snow White and the remake on Snow White in general. We'll talk about that. We're going to talk about how last night at the GOP debates, pop culture and politics fused because they were asked about Oliver Anthony's song and how and why that song is resonating so much with so many people. So we're going to discuss that. We're also going to talk about Logan Paul's press conference. He threw cake. That should be a crime as far as I'm concerned. Unless you're wait. No, who's the
Was it ice cream
DJ?
cake?
Who's the DJ that does it? Steve. who's the DJ that throws it and hits the Steve Aoki?
Yeah.
Is that who it is? Is that the one who does that? Yeah. So he's the only one who's allowed. He gets a pass. So we're going to talk about that. There's a lot to discuss about what's going on with Logan Paul, his fiance, and all that stuff. So that also
Logan Paul and our fiance, and
Yes.
by our I mean everybody on Earth's.
everybody's fiance. She's America's fiance.
She is American.
Or she's America's celebrity's fiance. We'll say that. Also, there is a brand new app.
Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Before we move on, I want to say one thing. She's mid.
Oh,
And she is. That I actually believe.
That's controversial.
I do believe it.
She was in
she is mid.
Sports Illustrated, Victoria's Secret.
Hey, oh, wow.
Mid-Torious Secret, he means.
That's Danzatastic.
There's a $75 one there from that Danzatastic. Mary, go ahead and read that one.
Okay, well, since I have to go to work soon, let's just get this going now. Also, please, let's get this thing started timer for how long it takes, and maybe a weekly recap of how long it progressively gets.
Yeah, guys.
Have we been over an hour into the show before?
50 minutes was yesterday, like Wednesday.
longest.
Tuesday's episode, I think, was 50 minutes by the time we got into it. I was like, let's jump right into it. And after enough
get
time
into
has
it.
passed that you've literally taken like a round trip to the grocery store and back, let's get started, ladies and gentlemen. That meme really has become very, very real in a lot of ways.
40 minutes minimum.
Yeah. So we're gonna talk about that. It'll take a few minutes for that to go off, but Phil, you got to get ready. When you see the lights change, you're gonna have to get ready to scream.
I'll try.
All right, guys. So let's go ahead now that we're gonna get right into the first part. Don't worry, we're not getting right into it. We're getting right into it. So, Mary, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Phil, you ready?
Well, fine.
Okay, fine. Let's go. First things first, let's start things off with a slight depressing note. I wanted to say rest in peace to Terry Funk.
Oh, not just Terry Funk, but go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Crip Daddy.
Yes.
Donovan.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his last name is, but
But-
Crip Daddy passed away. And he was a comedian, and he got the chance to do stand up, sit down, stand up from his chair. But you know, it was like people were expecting him to die when he was like little, and he made it almost 30 years. I don't know exactly how old he was, but he passed away just the other day, and it sucks. So
A lot of people came out in support of that, like in support of his life, though, and were issuing condolences to the family and everything like that. That was amazing to see.
I didn't like know him well, but I got to back and forth with him a little bit on the internet and DMs and stuff, and he was super cool and super nice. So.
But yeah, wrestling legend Terry Funk has passed away. He was 79 in wrestling. Like, dude's been around since the 60s. Like, started wrestling in like 65 or
You know
something
how
like that.
rare it is to make it to that age? Him and the Nature Boy is still around. That's crazy. Like, usually these dudes, because these men live hard lives. Like, they're doing...
Back in that generation, too.
They're doing just tons of cocaine. And I'm not kidding. Watch Jake the Snake's... Like his,
watch the old Macho Man.
behind
Watch the old Macho Man interviews, and you see the veins literally popping out of his face.
The
as he's yelling.
WWE and WWF and WWE were fueled by cocaine at least until the 2000s, possibly after. But like the you hear stories about
public.
these.
When the company went public, I think they had to start reining that stuff in, at least partially.
Maybe that
was
could
when
be-
they
it could
implemented policies like anybody who's ever worked. There it is. Crisis parties.
Thank you, guys.
There we go. There we go.
It's party time.
Back in the 2000s, when the company went public, they basically implemented a policy which says if you've ever worked for WWE at any point in time as a performer, they will send you to rehab for free. Because they understood that back in the day, the whole company was powered by cocaine.
Everybody did cocaine.
and opiates to get through they used to call Kurt Angle Perk Angle.
Yeah.
Because
he had a broken neck.
He won the Olympics with a broken neck.
Yeah.
But yeah, Terry Funk was a legend.
But you look at the store, like you look at the stories, like they used to just like pack 3 of them into a Civic and drive 13 hours,
And they worked 300
blowing
days.
lines and do it like every day. Like they did harder touring than bands do because they didn't have like vans and stuff. It was dudes getting into cars and going and literally bloodying themselves, for hours on end.
300 days a year.
Yeah.
300
Crazy.
days. Like
so
they were
him
in
making it to
insane
79 is insane.
They were insane good. Like, that's what I always point out. I was like, these people, like, you can call the sport real or not. That's not really the point of the discussion. They were some of the most incredibly conditioned athletes, and most of them still are because they work so damn much, and the job is so hard on them. But I still remember reading a lot about Terry Funk. I remember I read both of Mick Foley's books when they came out in the early 2000s, and he was very, very close to them. So rest in peace to Terry Funk. You will be missed. Also, guys, R. Kelly is in the news because from his jail cell, he's going to be paying $500,000 back to his victims. They're having his royalties garnished.
That's what it costs to pee on a girl, huh?
Yes, it is. It's so 500, and there's an amazing meme that I posted just like last week. It's Superman with his cape over Lois Lane, and it's just raining yellow liquids as Superman protecting Lois from R. Kelly. Incredible. But yeah, like apparently he owed like $506,000, and he just happened to have $567,000 in royalties owed to him by his record company. So that money is getting taken and paid to the victims.
Well, normally you would tell people not to stream someone's music if they're guilty of a crime like this.
Yeah.
Now, if you stream the music, you're directly supporting the victim.
This reminds me of an extremely ghoulish story that I wanted to that I meant to mention recently. I don't remember when it came up, but we mentioned the dude from Lost Prophets who went to jail for absolutely obscene things being done to children.
Yeah, is he dead yet?
No, but he was just beaten up in jail again.
Yeah,
recently,
I was hoping there
right?
was developments.
Did you know that his old record label still plays those songs and just has all the comments turned off?
What?
That they had a big hit in the early 2000s called Last Train Home. That song is still on YouTube. The comments are just turned off.
That guy, his music can be on YouTube.
Can you separate art from the artist in that instance?
I mean,
Because I listen to music from people who have done horrible things. I don't know if it's that bad, not that horrible, but very bad things.
Victor Von Derp says R. Kelly supports streaming.
You're now my favorite for the rest of the day.
But yeah, that guy's music is still available, like to listen to on YouTube. That's insane. Like, they don't give a crap. These record labels don't give a crap. Also, what were your thoughts on the Scooter Braun buying Taylor? Did you see that stuff that was going on this week? Because Scooter Braun is like losing a bunch of his music acts because he's transitioning to like a different department. What did you feel about what Taylor has to say about him buying her music?
I didn't hear what Taylor said.
She basically.
Well, I mean, he's the reason why she's re-recording all of those old albums.
Oh, well, okay.
He gained the rights to all of her old music, and she feels she should have been consulted about it. Now, it was reported that Ariana Grande, Justin Bieber, Demi Lovato, and all these other people were dropping him as their manager. It's kind of technically not true because he was letting those contracts expire anyway to transition to being CEO of an entertainment company.
So when it comes to purchasing the rights to people's music and stuff or whatever, when it comes to someone like Taylor Swift, I'm not super sympathetic. As much as I'm a big fan of her work and stuff, like she's not in a situation where her not having the rights to her music means that it affects how much she can, pay her bills. This kind of stuff has an effect on small bands, small artists. It does affect large artists, of course. I'm sure she's getting a lot more zeros in her checks because of the Taylor's versions and stuff. Her fan base will support that. They're going to listen to the Taylor's version. They know about the lore that goes along. I get that too. But this kind of thing for Taylor, she's making a statement, and that's fine. I support it. It's cool. But people do that kind of stuff. Like they buy the rights to people's music. Like Michael Jackson bought the rights to a bunch of the Beatles music, and told Paul McCartney right to his face. Like right to his face. Just like that's like bitch slapping him. So, I mean, this is the way this does happen. I don't own All That Remains music. Like it's all owned by the labels that we've dealt with in the past and stuff. That won't be the case moving forward, thankfully. But not everybody is fortunate enough to be able to have a career that lasts to the point where they pay off the debts and the loans that they had and stuff. So
she was kind of making it into a gender thing. She was saying like this is affecting female artists everywhere. Male artists just get to coast and do whatever they want.
Listen, I love Taylor Swift, but all of that stuff is just
blah, blah.
all of that shit is just dumb, like pickled brain bullshit coming out of her mouth that she's
Pickled
heard.
brain.
Yeah, I mean, she
was probably doing it to
steeped-
rally the troops. Like she's
Yeah.
cynically saying this. She doesn't actually believe it disproportionately affects female artists.
Yeah, because I mean, it's ridiculous to think that.
Yeah.
Like the idea that it disproportionately affects. Come on, everyone signs the same garbage contracts, and Taylor Swift, your tour affects the national economy. I don't really think you're in a position to talk about how oppressed you are as a woman, and this is coming from someone that literally. Okay, I'm going to stop right there. So.
Well, we got more Taylor coming up.
Thank you.
I'm
sick of it.
I know.
All right, guys. You know what? Speaking of Taylor Swift, let's mention what was going on with the animal charity, because she's. You have to watch these videos where charities had to come out and tell these people to like stop spinning your animals because of like some internet trend where
It was a TikTok trend where they go with this Taylor Swift song in the sound, and they like spin their poor unsuspecting pets
around
in a circle. I don't think it's that bad though.
We can't listen to the music because we'll get copyrighted. But yeah,
Of course
like
not.
they pick up what was this, Mary?
It's a hedgehog. Right?
And then you spin it around, and they're
That's
like,
cute.
They're like, "Would you please?" It's the cat. The cat looks really sad though when she spins
This was like, what is this? How do you spin
that.
a sheep?
Spinning my lamb. It says.
What? How?
So Taylor Swift doesn't just affect the national the fiscal economy. She affects your trending economy as well. And also, a guy recently got fired for taking a picture while working as one of her security guards.
Yeah.
Right?
He got fired from his security company because he asked fans in the front row to take a picture of him while he was standing in front of Taylor.
Can't get the action shot.
He was
He's gotta
singing
get the
along to her songs in the video. Let's watch his TikTok explaining the situation.
All right.
So it's been a couple days now, and I wanted to talk about this viral TikTok of me singing to Taylor Swift when she came to Minneapolis. I joked with my wife that I would now have to dedicate my account to Taylor Swift because of all of these new followers that I got, but I really wanted to talk about my experience. So 5 years ago, I went to Reputation with my then girlfriend, now wife, who wasn't the biggest fan of Taylor Swift at the time, so I kind of had to drag her along. But
That situation has never happened.
In the history of ever.
And learn about what positions they can work and how they get to go to a lot of these concerts and any of the sporting events in Minneapolis. And that sounded so cool to me. So I got a job with a Minneapolis security company to work all of these concerts and events, and kind of not go with my girlfriend, who wasn't a big fan of football or Taylor Swift at the time.
Does he love both
So when
football
I got
and Taylor
the job,
Swift?
Taylor
I
Swift
assume
was
so.
always the goal of something I really wanted to work, and I really wanted to actually be security there so that I just didn't have to pay for tickets. And when she announced her Eras tour, I was so excited, and I signed up as soon as I possibly could. And when I went to night one, I was amazed. All of the fans were so loud, and Taylor was phenomenal. So for my job, I wasn't allowed to turn my back to the crowd and really watch Taylor perform, but my spot was right about here, so I was able to kind of watch this crowd in this area, and my eyesight would get to look at the front stage and the performances up there. But anytime that she went to the center stage, I was just not really allowed to look. I had to keep my eyes towards the crowd. And so after night one, I was realizing how close Taylor Swift was getting to me, so I really wanted to get a photo to document it. So I handed out these little pieces of paper that said I wasn't
He
allowed to have my
laminated
phone
it?
out, but if Taylor Swift comes right behind me, please take a photo of me and text it to my number. And I handed this out to a couple
his
people.
wife feel
in
about
the
that?
Yeah, if this were my
front
husband, I'd be
row,
like,
for
you
night
have a
two,
weird attachment
and
to Taylor
They were really
Swift.
kind and really sweet about it, and so they did take this photo and a couple other photos, and it was very generous of them. But Alyssa, who made the TikTok about me, did not have one of these. I think she was a couple rows back. But when she made the TikTok and I saw that the next morning, I was so happy to see me going viral. And it was just a really fun time.
You thought so?
And I love Paper Rings, so that being the surprise song was fantastic.
I I don't know, man. It just doesn't.
If I were his wife, I'd be like, do you think she's prettier than me?
But he got fired. They fired
Why do you want to
this dude.
protect her so much?
It says,
You wonder why I think you're evil.
yeah. It says he posted an
This obsession with Taylor Swift is just a little too far.
Yes, I agree about that.
the unexpected update to the story in which he claimed that he had been fired from the company, Best Crowd Management. He went and got a job with this company so that he could work
He
events.
shaped his entire life around Taylor Swift.
Like,
Hope it was worth it, buddy.
yeah. Beyond that, the HR woman who called me wasn't able to articulate exactly what I did wrong. Well, maybe it's because you were handing your number out to random people in the crowd when you
So
should be
ridiculous.
protecting Taylor Swift.
Pretty self-explanatory.
What would have happened to this dude if somebody hopped the barrier and got to her because this dude's out here like handing out his
He
It's
would
like,
have
I'm getting
literally-
butterflies. She's right behind me.
He would have literally killed them for trying to
Yes.
get close to Taylor Swift. He would have pulled their arms off as if he were like a Wookiee getting cheated on.
don't
Yeah, as
touch her.
Taylor Swift, do you want your security guards to be fans of yours or not?
No, not at all.
You don't. It's like that video
You
that went
don't
viral
want-
of the guy following her as she left the stage because he was looking eyeline, at the top of the stands for threats because they were walking
Yeah,
underneath.
He
Remember that?
He was professional security. He was professional, and that's the difference. Like, so this guy right here, right? This is a guy that got a minimum wage job to watch a barricade, and compare that to that other guy who was probably getting $250,000 a year to be her security. That's the difference. This guy gets, $50,000 a year or whatever because he's getting people to video him with Taylor Swift.
Because his would be arena security and hers would be like her security. Like the ones escorting her
because
would probably
he's-
be her security private.
Because his qualifications are I can flip burgers, and the other guy's qualifications are probably I was special forces.
It's funny because like Andrew Schultz was talking about it. He's like, I never got the Taylor Swift hype, and just recently he's like I went to the show and holy crap, by the time it was done I was a huge fan.
She is great. And I also want to say the picture that Variety used with her, even though she kind of looks a little bit like a vampire, she's still hot. Looks so good.
She's descended from that famous Satanist woman.
Yes.
Possibly. Is
So who is that? What's that lady's name?
Oh, I don't know.
but
I can look it up.
There was like a meme going around last week. It says like on a scale of 1 to 10, how much of a conspiracy theorist are you? And then shows a picture of them both because they look
Zena LaVey.
Zena LaVey. Yeah.
With a Z or
Looks
an X?
exactly like her.
Really? Now I'm interested.
All right. Also, guys, PETA is back in the news. They're telling Britney Spears she's a bad person because she adopted a dog. And she got a new one rather than getting one from a kennel.
She like bought one instead of adopting
Yes.
or whatever.
Yeah. Yep. It says PETA got in. It says the singer.
Of course, it's a crusty white rat dog.
Yep.
She's always gonna be a white, like trailer trash girl. Like
Yeah.
you can't take it out of her.
Yeah.
No matter what mansion she lives in,
I guess they've got 5 dogs.
she's always gonna want a crusty white rat dog.
Well, it says that Sam Asghari kept a Doberman, so they had 5 dogs or something like that. But
Yeah, they had a custody battle over the dogs. It is a cutie. It's a cute dog.
It is hilarious watching
Looks like a teddy bear.
PETA still taking L's because nobody actually takes PETA serious. In an age of activism, nobody cares about PETA, and that's got to really grind their gears.
I listened to an interview with like one of the PR people like at PETA, and she said that they try to be ridiculous as possible to get more attention.
Doesn't
like they
PETA
don't
kill like more dogs than any other like?
I feel
group in
like
the
that's
country or something?
probably a part of why PETA has not been more successful. Like when people are like, oh, I love animals and I want to help animals, so let me help animals. I'm going to go to PETA. And then people find out what PETA do and they're like, oh, I'm getting the hell out of here.
Yeah.
they
Because
do
PETA does a
dog
lot.
post-birth abortion.
Yeah, they do a lot of killing of animals because they, in their estimation, having euthanizing is better than having them be hungry or be, whatever, strays or whatever. So.
Well, also here, guys, there's a rap artist. Her name's Asian Doll, and
Had you heard of her before?
Yes, I had. I don't listen to her
didn't.
music, but I've heard of her before. She's now Team OnlyFans and is making fun of guys choosing to rap in their 30s because
Is she Asian, by the way?
No.
so it says
I feel like every Blasian person loves to mention that they're Blasian.
she was offered a $500,000 like upfront sum from OnlyFans to join the platform. And she then took that as a way to like laugh at people who are not yet successful, right? So she's laughing at the rapper. She's like,
Rapping at 30 is crazy.
It just makes me laugh because when you really think about it, I always point out, I said like on OnlyFans, like you're only successful if you're in that 0.1% of OnlyFans creators, right? And the rest of them are essentially the SoundCloud rappers of porn.
Well, why doesn't
Like-
she just start the OnlyFans account, get the upfront payment of $500,000, and then just delete her account
There's
after
probably
a week?
requirements for how long she has to stay on the platform.
Certain amount of content
Yeah,
produced.
like
and all kinds
and
of stuff.
then she says she
But
made
they
100
can't tell you what content to post.
She posts. She's posting.
She just posts like a picture of a carrot.
that'd be great. I mean, I don't think she would.
No,
do that.
Finesse them.
But the thing is, if she were to do that, she would get no attention.
Yeah, and
The
it's saying that she-
attention-
Is that in the contract?
I'm sure that she's probably interested in attention for herself. There's definitely a portion of this woman that's like, yo, I want people to see my coochie because then they want to look at me more.
Yeah, it says she
it's
made
not about the
100,000.
money.
She made 100,000 in her first day. So actually, like when you combine the two, when you combine attention and money, it gets dangerous.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. So it's just
Sometimes it's just the attention is enough for
Yeah.
a lot of these OnlyFans girls.
Yep. So it's kind of sad because like they're laughing at the dudes who are rapping, who are at least whether you like their music or not, are still trying to like
She's like, how dare you do something creative to try to make money?
yeah, like that's lame.
Did she think that the male rappers were also going to start an OnlyFans and make $500,000
Yes.
up front?
Yeah, they were going to
Like,
get those. Huge
was that
contracts.
even on the table for them?
Well, I mean, that's a big part of where when people talk about the wage gap, they're like, yeah, well, what about the wage gap in porn? What about the wage gap in porn? Let's talk
I
about
sent
that.
you the Taylor Swift clone
Picture?
Satanist picture.
Okay, hold on, I got it here.
Zena LeVay. It literally looks like her.
Oh my gosh, it does. Yeah, it really does. The meme was great though. So Zena LeVay could be Taylor Swift's mom.
You need to take down the
No,
page.
they can't see they can't see that. There
Neither
you go.
can I.
Yeah,
we go.
neither
There.
can we.
Oh.
Yeah, looks just like her.
She's a Satanist, huh?
Yeah.
I like that resemblance is close enough that like I almost am believing it.
Is it just because she does her makeup the same way, like the eyebrows?
No, like look at the facial structure, like the shape of their mouth.
the eyes and the mouth are like
Like-
dead on.
Yeah, the eyes, the eyelids.
Where's Alex Jones when you need him? He's probably got a
Austin.
take on this. He's probably got a take.
I
on
liked
This.
Taylor Swift's hooded eyes before she got the blepharoplasty,
I don't know what that is.
where you get your eyelids lifted up.
Is that a thing?
You get your eyebrows lifted up so your eyelids are bigger.
Really?
Yeah, she had hooded eyes before that.
What's the point of that? Is it just a look?
It's just the trendy look right now.
because guys love eyebrows and
They
eyelashes.
freaking love.
There's nothing a guy
Eyebrows.
when a guy looks at a woman, the first thing he thinks about is, man, those are some sexy eyelashes.
You know, I don't know about other dudes, but like eyes are like I'm into eyes. Like if a girl's wearing like a lot of makeup, like a lot of like lipstick, like really like noticeable lipstick and stuff, I'm kind of like a little off put. But like eye makeup, the smoky eye stuff, the eyelashes, I dig it.
Well, getting your eyes lifted like that does make you look younger.
Ah,
So that's probably why she did it.
All right, guys. Speaking of rock stars, we have rock stars in the news today. Alice Cooper he spoke out against transgenderism, and this is one of those ones where it feels like every 3 months. Like, what do we say? Like
We saw this and we were like, okay.
some old guy. No, I love Alice Cooper. Like, make no mistake, I love Alice Cooper.
Big surprise. Boomer doesn't like new woke stuff.
Yeah, and he points out
That
he says,
makes sense.
transgenderism is a fad and has gotten out of control and laughable. Which
He
is
said, I don't know one person that agrees with the woke thing. Everybody I talk to says, isn't it stupid? So true. Me too.
yeah, but like that's only in person, right? On the internet, nobody says that. On the internet, you get called names for saying that.
I think part of the thing though is Alice Cooper's a billion years old,
Yeah.
and so he's at the I don't give a shit age. He is like in his 70s, isn't he?
Yes, he is.
So
Miliwake, it's Algonquin
Yeah.
for the good land.
same thing with like Ted Nugent, right? Like so Ted Nugent is a little bombastic and stuff, but he's 75 and you're going to get a certain type of attitude from people that are a certain age, and most of that attitude is there's nothing you can do to hurt me because I'm gonna die soon. I don't care, that kind of stuff.
And I'm financially insulated from
matters.
any of the consequences.
That
And
matters.
nobody really covered this other than Breitbart. All the other articles were about a performance he was doing the other day. So he's apparently still performing live.
Oh yeah, he is.
He's
Totally.
he's out there still performing. So good for him. He says biological reality is a fact that cannot be rationalized away. I've seen plenty of people work very hard to rationalize it away. Like he what he has the benefit of? He has the benefit of not being terminally online.
Yeah, it takes believing in souls to be able to believe in transgenderism. If you don't believe in souls, if you don't believe in spirits, you can't believe in transgenderism, because gender is literally just a spirit. It's not.
I think
he's religious.
Not a good take.
I believe Alice Cooper is religious.
I think that you need to believe in souls to rationalize objecting to transgenderism, because if the biological difference between men and women is where our differences stop, and there is no spiritual reality to the difference between men and women, then what is the point of even defending that distinction?
I don't believe in spirits, so.
Okay. I'm just saying your point doesn't make sense.
Well, because I mean, your brain is the distinction. Like
it's not the only distinction, is my point.
No, there's a bunch of distinctions.
You don't have
sure.
any hope of objecting to this lobby if you think that the only differences between men and women are biological. If you don't recognize the spiritual differences between men and women, you're not going to get anywhere with objecting to this insanity. That's my take.
I disagree.
Go on.
Well, I think that
This is a pop culture show.
Hey! I'm just doing my job. I'm just trying to get everybody to say their piece here. But
Joe Rogan.
Good for Alice Cooper, though. Good for Alice Cooper. All right, guys. What would you like to see? Would you like to see cute or cringe of the day?
Let's start with cute.
Cute of the day? All right, guys. By the way, if you do want to submit for cute of the day, you can hashtag PCC Pets. Also tag me and Pop Culture Crisis it's at popculture_show. So tag us in there and we will see them. This is from Melly May on Twitter. It says, my dog Opie, he's the best boy on the left, with my sister-in-law's dog Hope. True love.
That's cute.
That is a very cute dog. There's two very cute dogs. All right, let's do this one. All right, this is from Whatever on Twitter. He says, the white and tabby cat is Chili. The orange cat is Hercules. Herc is a scaredy cat, but we love him. We have one more cat I'll get some pics of soon. She is all black. It's hard to get good pictures.
Yeah, all black cats just kind of blend in with the shadows.
Adorable.
Cute.
Adorable.
I like that cats can, bond with each other. They imprint on one of them.
Okay, last night, so I went down and I just released something on my Instagram, like, guys, quiet, check this out. And it was just Bocus looking cute on a box as usual. And then Ian comes down later and because Bocus just sits on the big box at the bottom of the stairs, right? And Ian goes because he's the greatest thing that's ever happened. And he's like, I'm gonna go make Bocus more comfortable. He goes and gets Bocus's bed, his big cloth bed, and he puts it on top of the box, and Bocus goes, I want nothing to do with this. Bocus doesn't want anything to do with the box now that there's a comfortable bed there. He just wants to lay on the cardboard. That's what Bocus wants.
This says cats love boxes because it gives them a place to ambush from.
There you go. Well, then Bocus would have felt bad trying to ambush from his bed.
Is that why they like to get be on shelves and stuff like that? Yeah.
Makes
People
sense.
should if you want to have a happy cat, you're supposed to make shelves for them to climb up on so they can overlook the room and stuff.
Yeah.
All right,
Apparently.
let's go ahead and let's go to cringe of the day. We've got a couple of cringes of the day here.
This
first,
is good.
First things first, I got sent this one after me and you looked at it because we were talking about how The Onion hasn't been funny in a decade. And this one was... It's a weird self-own /
Well, you say that they don't
That's
make
The
fun
Onion.
of liberals, and
Good
here they
for
are
them.
making fun of liberals. Aren't you satisfied with
I
that?
don't feel like they're trying to do that.
You think they're
think
making fun of liberals here?
I don't feel like that's what they're doing. I think it's a weird self-own. All their other content tells me that if I have to ask the questions, it's not effective.
I don't know. I mean, I think it's a good attempt.
Also, I thought that guy was Prince Harry at first.
Are you saying that all
He has
gingers
way
look the
Yes,
same?
hair.
that's exactly what I'm saying.
He has way more hair on his
He
head.
does.
That is true.
He's got
That
more
is
going
true.
on up there. All right, guys, we got a couple of other ones here. This one Mary found says, "Bro was stressed trying to answer." Let's see what it says here.
Would you date someone who's plus size?
No.
I mean,
This is painful to watch.
yeah.
No.
Yeah, probably. I mean,
Coward.
I guess it.
He's
I
like
guess it kinda
15.
depends,
What he means is no.
like how much? Because like, if it's
His
like too
friend
much,
just
then it's
laughing
kind
at him.
of a problem. But like to their life, then probably not. But if it's like they can still like live their lives and it's like they can just it's just normal for them, then
Just say
I
no,
mean
dude.
probably if I like them.
What's too much?
Just to the point where it's like they like it just affects what they can do, and like I have to like change my life for them.
Give us a
To
number.
Give a visual, am I too much?
Oh, am I too much? Yes, just say yes, dude. Jump in both feet.
I mean I don't know how you live your life, so I don't know. Like,
So it's how they live their life and not their size.
I guess yeah.
She finally gave him an
poor-
out at the end there.
Poor kid.
He should have just gone the Jordan Peterson route and said, "Look, I operate under the Jordan Peterson premise of no fatties."
He was just
Yeah.
trying to be nice, but imagine how this interview would have gone if the girl asking wasn't plus size. Would he have been honest?
Maybe, I don't know. I don't know. I think that it's if someone says something like that to you, it is legitimate if you are in shape. And I know this sounds a little kind of like you're a jerk, but like if you're in shape, it is legitimate to be like, look, I'm an active person. I want someone that can, that will be active with me. I want someone that will go to the gym with me. I want someone that's going to be doing things like that. And that's a gentle way of saying, no, I won't date someone that is overweight, because overweight probably means sits on the couch a lot. Overweight means, they're not active and stuff. You can be gentle about it. But he totally should have been like, no fatties, just because she was ambushing him. Like the whole point was to make him feel uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They
He-
sent the
he
fatty
did
to
agree
ask
to
him
do
about
the
it.
interview.
Yeah, he should have been like, no way, get out of here. He should have totally jumped in both feet.
Zig, are you kidding me? You would crush me if we were in bed together. That's
Yeah,
insane. I'm not doing that.
The point of her
He's
asking
like
him.
12.
Yeah, and he didn't. I guarantee he didn't know what they were going to ask him, and so they put him on the spot, made him uncomfortable, had a heavy person ask him a question. So it's on them. The point was to make him uncomfortable. He should have just been like, "Screw you guys! You're doing this to try and give me a gotcha. So here, I'll give you something better than me cringing. I'll just embrace." My evil side.
They're at like a fair. It would have been funnier if you were eating fried food while answering the question. My lifestyle is just so active and healthy, and I just can't have anybody getting in the way of that. While he's like shoveling fried Oreos in his face.
That would have been great.
He's like literally talking out of one corner of his mouth because the food is in the other corner of his mouth. That would have been really, really good. So, she's just. I mean, that lady clearly looks up to Lizzo. So, all right, we got one more here. This one is from. Oh, we got two more here.
Ron DeSantis cringe.
It's this guy, man. Like I feel bad. I feel bad for him. Here, let's watch this clip.
And I will not let you down.
Yeah, I mean. Mary's having an actual physical reaction.
Mary's like, this is what I need to not feel empty inside and alone. Right?
That, you were feeling physical discomfort, weren't you?
Yeah.
Will not let you down. And I.
What on earth happened? It's like
He was just like.
his brain
He's like-
short-circuited trying to tell his face.
He's like third graders that are doing their yearbook picture and they don't know how to smile yet.
Good Lord.
I will not let you down.
There's one more.
He looks like he's about to kill somebody. He's just like grinding his teeth, literally. What? Is he like on drugs?
No, he's
Making him like gurn like that?
he's like he's suppressing his neocon anger. He's just
People were like,
he's
this
like, I
guy's
want to bomb the Middle East.
this guy's gonna go Patrick Bateman.
It's weird.
It's just I can't. Like, it's like the thing is like it's a skill set.
He looks like he's on the verge of committing a mass atrocity.
I mention all the time here. I said, like, the people who are media trained, who do interviews, they somehow find a way to, like, smile at the end of every sentence. Vivek was able to do that. He could actually talk in his face. His mouth reached his face. Like, when he's smiling, it looks real. Like, if you don't know how to do that and you're on the political stage, it's going to cost you. So, you know, he needs a class.
I will not let you down.
Look, I'm plenty socially awkward. I get it, but I'm not running for president.
You're not on the debate stage.
And I'm not.
So it's okay.
I'm not running for president, so I don't have to worry about it.
I just got Trump is scheduled to be arrested at 7:30 p.m. tonight.
Great. Well, that mugshot's going to be lit. Can't wait. I hope he brings his own lighting guy. Gets to get a good shot. He gets a thumb in there from doing the.
They powder him up first.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to jump it too much into politics here, but the idea of like him just saying okay and surrendering and going to jail, so that way the federal so the Secret Service literally has to clear out all the people in the jail, only people with the right clearance.
So inconvenient.
Like seriously, they should Donald Trump should totally be like, all right, Georgia, if you want to prosecute me, here, this is what you're going to have to deal with. You have to contain a former president and all of the security that comes along with him.
Yeah.
And they have federal supremacy too, because when the local cops are like, you can't do this, they're just going to have dudes with machine guns roll up and be like, yes, we can, and we're going to. All
right, guys, let's go ahead and get started then first. Well, let's jump right into it.
That's what time. Yeah, it's exactly 3:40. Perfect.
42 minutes into it, ladies and gentlemen. Let's jump right into it. So Rachel Zegler, who has been in the news quite a bit lately because Disney is having a very hard time spinning the narrative that she isn't a genuinely awful human being. She wore a sweatshirt recently with song lyrics on it. No tears left to cry, right?
This is an Ariana Grande lyric, and she decided to wear this No Tears Left to Cry sweatshirt in public as a hidden message to clap back at her haters. They're hating on her because she has been openly trashing Snow White and the original story, calling the prince a stalker, saying, it's not feminist enough.
So gross.
And I guess since the strikes are going on and she's not permitted to talk about her projects right now, that's a bit of a relief for Disney.
Here's a picture of her in the
This is her only way of communicating to the public what she's feeling right now. It's not really a way of clapping back. It's more so just wanting sympathy.
Yeah, she feels bad that people are mean to her.
It's wanting people to feel bad for responding to what she has put out there into the public.
Weird, as she would say.
Weird. So we're not going to do that again.
We're not going to do that again. Is this...
It's so weird.
She has such a very, unnatural demeanor.
Yeah.
Weird. She's very online. She's very Reddit, Tumblr poisoned.
It's all Taylor Swift's fault for being a fan of Tumblr.
Yeah, Taylor is very active on Tumblr.
Yeah.
Is she really?
Yes.
She has been for a long time.
Yeah.
Still? I thought they got rid of Tumblr.
No, Tumblr's still there.
Still around.
A lot of people flooded back to Tumblr when Elon took over.
Still gasping for air.
Yeah. So right now she's doing that, but it's in
every
the news.
girl who wears biker shorts and an oversized sweatshirt and white sneakers thinks that she's Princess Diana. It's so annoying.
Yeah. My mom loved Princess
They saw
Diana.
one paparazzi photo of Princess Diana wearing this outfit, and they thought, this is the look.
They know what happened to Princess Diana, right?
They
Not good things.
I'm not sure if they even do. A lot of them might not even know. A lot of people these days don't even know. But these types of ongoing struggles are going to be a problem as long as we hire weird activists to lead our TV shows and movies.
Part of me thinks that the weird activist stuff is going to always be a thing with people that are artists. It's kind of always been a thing with people that are artists.
But now there's just because everyone has more access to them.
Yeah, and also what should happen is people can do their stuff, right? But they should stop making it a public thing. Like, if you want to go and like work with like Habitat for Humanity and you're an actor and you got some off time and you want to go build houses and stuff, great. That's great. Awesome.
They
Cool.
never actually do that though. They never go actually do stuff. They go to galas and they go to balls and then they
go to Ukraine.
They go to Ukraine. Yeah, never mind.
And
They go to
that's all social justice stuff. It's all slacktivism. It's all stuff that they're doing on their Twitter account or on their social media account. They're not doing anything, and it's I feel like it's a sign of the times, like because it's in vogue nowadays. And I think that it's possible that Gen Z might get over it, and we might see an end to this in the next 10 or so years. But it ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
We've got one from Victor Von Durp. He said there are advantages to being with an obese woman, Phil. She gets mad, go upstairs. You just bought yourself half an hour to prepare for the fight. Downside, bedroom. If you're on the bottom, you might die. Choose carefully.
Or what you do is like you go upstairs, and then when she goes upstairs, you go downstairs, and then you go back upstairs, and eventually she's thin. If you just do it enough times, what you gotta do is you gotta make her angry enough to want to follow you, and then you just trick her into exercising. That's what you do. It's perfect. It'll work every single time. I promise. You're right. Like, look, actors and actresses and musicians have been activists for years. That's nothing new. Slacktivism, like at least back in the day, they had to give money to charities and get the tax break to appear like they were good people.
Or they had to go to a studio to do something like to talk, do a PSA or whatever. Now they can just do it from their, they literally get a self-absorbed like inspiration and be like, ooh, I'm going to go ahead and film myself like singing Imagine or whatever and let everybody know how great I am.
Gosh. Do you think that there's a, because I was thinking about this the other day, the last time they had like a We Are the World type song was like when Haiti had that, I don't remember what natural disaster it was. Earthquake in Haiti in like 2013 or 2012, something like that. And like they re-recorded We Are the World. Canada did their own version of it. Like if they
Disney Channel did their own version.
If they did that now, I feel like everyone would just crap on it.
I really do think that modern society right now would have a cynical push, would have a lot of cynical pushback on stuff like that. That stuff flew in the 80s. I don't even think that it flew in 2013 or whenever that actually happened.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people didn't notice that it happened, but if it came out now, I think that it would get spread around more, and it would be
a more united front around the celebrities back then.
There wasn't a cell phone in everyone's pocket.
Don't you think it's weird that following these interviews Rachel Zegler has done, where Gal Gadot is right beside her, saying the same things, if not interjecting to say even worse things, like she's not gonna be saved by the prince. Why is all of the hate getting directed at Rachel Zegler? Why isn't Gal Gadot getting hate?
Because Gal Gadot's hot.
Because Gal Gadot smiles and everybody forgets. Gal Gadot smiles instantly and everybody forgets. And everyone's like, did she say something?
She has equally venomous ideas about the original Snow White.
But I think it might be that she's been around longer and these ideas seem to be new and just related to this project. So people are taking more of a wait and see approach. Like if it keeps happening past this project, it might become more of a thing. But right now, what she's got working against her is the movie, or is the Imagine song that she made the mistake of recording. Her public.
Yeah, it is.
She's literally culpable for that.
Mary does have a point because Gal Gadot is like the Teflon actress. Like,
she is.
Stuff just bounces off her.
Yeah, she's allowed to. She's somehow allowed to just make things that piss everybody off.
And also, everybody responded saying, Rachel Zegler is just a child. You can't do this to her.
She's a 22-year-old child.
When she's standing next to Gal Gadot, she looks like she's 12 years old.
Yeah, she does. I really do think that Gal Gadot is just built. She also had some comments back in the day that got taken really well, where she said we can't like shame boys if we want, like when they were doing the Wonder Woman press junket, she basically said like, they're like, oh, this is a great movie for girls, and she's like, it's not really supposed to be for girls, it's supposed to be for everyone. And people that might have won her a lot of goodwill back then, right? And people liked her as Wonder Woman. She did fine as Wonder Woman, but she just, for some reason, she's just so likable. She's so likable.
The character and the writing in Wonder Woman, like the fish out of water story, it was perfect for her too. Super endearing. She was super cute. You're just like, oh my god. It was as far as origin stories go, that type of fish out of water story with Gal Gadot being the character
Because she's so likable.
Yeah, totally. So the super charismatic, super likable. Yeah, 100%.
I loved when Honest Trailers did their thing about it, and they said, "Listen, is like her accent forces everybody else in the movie to have to like try to have an accent that doesn't really make sense because like
she didn't hide her accent.
No, she kept her accent in that movie, and everyone loves that. Everyone loves
Ana
that
de
movie.
Armas doesn't get rid of her accent.
No, you can't. A lot of people can't.
She was from, she's supposed to be from an island away from the rest of the population, so an accent that's different to her other co-stars makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wonder Woman is canonically Israeli.
They would love saying that too. They love saying that. Like somebody will like draw a picture of like Wonder Woman blocking Netanyahu, like protecting Netanyahu or something like that.
Picture of Wonder Woman lighting a menorah.
I wouldn't be surprised. No, she throws the lasso of
With her
truth
lasso.
around a menorah and pulls it towards her.
Just a picture of Wonder Woman just smashing Palestinian kids in the face.
Wonder Woman appears in the Gaza Strip. Just no. We can't do that, ladies and gentlemen. We can't do that. It's not going to happen. All right, guys. Also, on top of that, they say Rachel Zegler's Snow White, the remake is being called a disgrace by a former Disney employee whose father was actually the director of the original 1937 animated Snow White.
And this man is 91, so
he's old.
That should tell you it's been a while since this movie came out.
And he used the word woke in a sentence because 91-year-olds know the word woke.
That's blackpilling enough to know that a 91-year-old man who has like gone through the trials and tribulations of living on this earth for this long knows what the word woke is / means. Like, you don't deserve that.
Yes.
You don't deserve to live to see this time.
He's just happy to wake up every day, so he knows what the word woke means. He's just happy to not be dead.
Yeah.
It says wait,
he said her views misunderstand the film. Younger people have never seen the original and don't know what they're talking about. It's a whole different concept. I totally disagree with it. I know my dad and Walt would also very much disagree with it. I think it's pathetic that people feel that way. These are art forms in the world of film today. The original film was done with good taste when it was written. I disagree with the whole concept, but I know Disney is getting into that mode. He called it a disgrace what they're doing, trying to do something new with something that was such a great success earlier. Well, that's late-stage capitalism.
Late-stage capitalism.
I'm afraid of what they're going to do with the early films. Their thoughts are just so radical now. They change the stories. They change the thought processes of the characters. They just aren't the original stories anymore. They're making up new woke things. And I'm just not into any of that. I find it a bit insulting that they may have done with some of these classic films. There's no respect for what Disney did and what my dad did. I think Walt and he would be turning in their graves.
I'm picturing like a 91-year-old on an iPhone, like on Urban Dictionary,
Woke.
looking up the term woke, and I love it. Like
with his character size on the phone like blown up, so there's like one character per.
My dad
frame.
has very large character size on his phone. He does.
W.
My dad just got his first smartphone.
If he knew, of his dad, and this is Walt's kid.
His dad knew and worked with Walt Disney.
All right, so there's a possibility that he's not too fond of communists.
Yeah.
So it could be that he's dialed in because of the leftism contained in that.
He's just out here fighting commies every day.
You
That's what it
know.
is. On top of that, ladies and gentlemen, Bob Iger has come up. This is my favorite headline because it's just. Okay, I got to read this to you guys. He says, they're going to improve the quality of their films. They're going to improve the quality of their films by reducing both the number of titles they release and the amount of money they're going to spend on each of those movies.
They're going to improve the quality by spending less.
And making less and spending less. Now, if you were going to tell me that you were going to make less and focus more of your money and effort onto a couple of very, very specific properties, I might buy you. But this just looks like cost cutting to me. That's what that looks like to me. I just,
maybe he misspoke.
I don't think that that's actually what happened.
Well, I mean, they're cutting production because there's just not the demand for it. Obviously, if people aren't watching stuff and the reviews are bad, then I imagine it's not a good idea to keep making stuff that bums people out.
Yeah, this was a quote. He says, "First, the company was completely restructured, restoring creativity to the center of our business," he said. Meanwhile, he's like sitting over here throwing darts at like people on strike. He's throwing darts at pictures of striking groups.
He's
right
throwing darts at a Rachel Zegler dartboard.
He says, we made important management changes and efficiency improvements to create a more cost-effective, coordinated, and streamlined approach to our operations. Well, if it's to be believed that the catering budget on The Mandalorian was higher than the entire budget of Battlestar Galactica, I would say you had some streamlining.
When you get to that gross amount of money being poured into those projects, it's about making the people involved feel important.
Yes.
That's what it's about.
And on top of that, like, there's just no excitement. Like, people were like arguing about Ahsoka, but like even a year ago, when things were already bad, like people were at least kind of excited for Ahsoka. Now they're not. Like,
I saw that the Ahsoka has like a girl power crew though.
Yeah.
Like, so I mean, if they'd had like if it was like what's it? The one about the Bothans, the spy, Rogue One. If they had a cast like Rogue One, where Ahsoka was the lead, and there was like, you know, men and women in it, fine. But like when it's the whole girl power thing, you turn people off. Especially nowadays, it's like there's a significant portion of the audience for Star Wars and stuff like that will give it the benefit of the doubt if it doesn't look like they're trying to shove a narrative down people's throats. People are excited about, what is it, Rebel Moon or whatever is the...
I'm excited about Rebel Moon.
Yeah, but that's
not Star Wars, but I'm excited about it.
It's built the Star Wars universe, isn't it, though?
No, it's not. It's Netflix.
It was originally written to be part of the Star Wars universe. It was rewritten to not be.
See that? Like today, I was reading something that said that he pitched that to Warner Brothers several times and got turned away.
Okay.
So, you know, like
after rewriting it,
I'm fairly excited about that. But yeah, like also I want to play this clip here from Ryan Long. Okay, here guys. I got to show you guys this one. This one's good. Let's refresh.
A big focus on her love story with a guy who
says Disney executive responds to Snow White press tour.
really stalks her. Weird.
Rachel, John from Disney here. Saw that you're doing press, getting out there. Love the men are bad stuff, down with the patriarchy, with that. Just thought we'd have a quick little chat about potentially toning it a tiny bit down on calling the prince a creepy predator. Men are trash, slapping myself right now. Not a fan personally. Oh, another one just got sent to me here.
I think I watched it once and then I never picked it up again.
You really just don't hear shitting on the property, huh?
Never revisited Snow White again.
Imagine we had Fast and Furious 9 coming out, and all the press was telling them how bad Fast and Furious 1 through 8. A movie about cars, very male-driven cast. Yes, not a fan.
And then I went on the ride in Disney World, which was called Snow White's Scary Adventures. Doesn't sound like something a little kid would like.
And you are discouraging people from going on the ride.
Was terrified of it.
Are you familiar, Rachel, with how this company makes money? And she's gone. Okay, we're gonna need to get Xi Jinping on the phone. And Dave, bring me my chapstick, because I'm about to suck some rod.
I love Ryan Long.
He's great.
But that's right. Like, you can't. All those were like in like 2 interviews. Wouldn't you feel bad about yourself? Like about
I love
like
that he endearingly calls him Xi Jinping.
it made me laugh. And Rachel Zegler's really setting the company back. But it's
Do you
feels
think
like
they've
they're
poisoned the water so much that just the fact that Ahsoka is a female-led show is what turns people off and makes it think it's feminist, regardless of content?
What it is when you do that now. It used to be like a novelty, right? When I say that because I was watching. What was I watching the other day that had a character? Oh, I was watching an episode of Longmire. Or no, I'm sorry, of Jericho, the show Jericho with. Go ahead.
I want to say one thing real quick. My take is not because it's female led. It's the whole girl power, the whole like the leading cast. It's not just one, like the leading person. It's the whole team.
I think it's feminist because there's a woman in it.
The idea here is like, now it used to be back in the day that it was a novelty. Now when you do it, you have to earn back the audience's trust. I mean, you're not starting from zero. You're starting from a net negative every time you do that. I was watching an episode of the show Jericho the other day. It's from like 2006, and there's a character in the show that's deaf. And has a hard time speaking, and it's written into the story. Back in 2006, you give them the benefit of the doubt. What you say is, you're like, look, this writer clearly had an interesting idea for this character, because you didn't feel like it would have been mandated by the studio to have the character be like that. Right? So you're like, why would the writer include it if he didn't want to write about the subject matter? Now, when they put like a strong independent woman that doesn't need no man, or they include a character that's disabled or something like that, a lot of times you don't give them the benefit of the doubt. You assume that this was brought to them by the studio and that it wasn't brought from a place of creativity. It was brought from a place of either studio activism or director activism, rather than an actual creative desire to use that character or that group in that way within the story.
Yeah.
So like when I watch it, it's just sad, because I look back at all that old stuff and you're like, you see those things and you're like, or even when they did I don't remember what year, somebody can help me out. John Wick came out in 2014. I don't remember what year the sequel came out in, but in that movie, they had Ruby Rose's character be mute. So she signs the whole movie in John Wick 2. You didn't feel like it was just a studio mandate that they had to do that. One, because Ruby Rose is not deaf or mute, but because it felt like they had a creative way to write that character. Whereas now you would assume that some studio executive came in and said, we need X amount of this and X amount of that.
Yeah, if you make her mute, it doesn't count because she's not speaking on screen.
Exactly.
You're not giving the right part to the female.
Are you going to watch the John Wick, the Continental, the show, when it comes out?
No, and it
doesn't have the same vibe.
No, it's just because of episodic TV. I can't watch episodic TV, and if I sit down to like binge something, I end up scrolling on the internet anyways.
Yeah, I have a much easier time reviewing movies here than I do with like we watched Velma, but it was once a week, and even then it felt like I was having my eyes gouged out each and every day. So it is what it is. All right, let's go to Super Chats.
Alex, making beds and writing novel on the side, said, new members show, Timcast Dating. You could call it All That Remains is Just Love. Hosted by Phil Labonte. You already had your first show Tuesday.
What was Tuesday?
Did you host the first episode of Timcast Dating?
I don't know
who sang the song All Is Full of Love. Was that Death Cab for Cutie? Sing All Is Full, the Postal Service. Somebody in the chat let me know. There's a song called All Is Full of Love. I can't remember who sang that one. Let's do 2 more.
Tacty Platty said, Phil, you're my favorite on IRL.
I love you.
You never hear that.
Get a room.
Shane H. Wilder said, had to drag his wife because he wasn't a fan of Taylor Swift. Sounds sus.
Oh, it was
Wait, what?
By the way, it was Bjork that sang that song. Thank you.
But the guy was a fan of Taylor Swift. Oh, his wife wasn't a fan of Taylor Swift?
He's like had to drag his wife. He's like, well, she wasn't that big of a fan, so he's like, I mean, that's brave of that guy to even admit that he was the one. Like most guys are like, yeah, I guess I'll go.
Even if they secretly love Taylor Swift, they're still gonna act like I'm going against my will to be supportive.
I literally watched a video like about that the other day, where like the husband is like, yeah, fine, I guess. Yeah, sure. And then like they show him at the concert and he's like singing along to the songs. And then they get home. She's like, so you had a good time? He goes, yeah, it was fine. And he's wearing all Taylor Swift merch. He's like, yeah, it was fine. I guess. You know, it's fine. It is what it is. Let's do one more.
Okay. OMG Bro said Pound Town Taylor Swift remix featuring All That Remains.
Well, she did do that song.
Would you do it?
Yes, of course. Taylor Swift and Sexy Red, obviously.
She did do that song with T-Pain.
What song?
Thug Story.
Okay,
T-Pain.
I didn't know.
It's really bad and it's really funny.
Sexy Red did it?
No, Taylor Swift back
the
in like
remix
2000
of It's a Love Story.
And the song, it's very like I rail against like whenever you see the Lonely Island. You always do this where like they make these videos where they pretend like they're these good friends with these celebrities that they probably met just that day.
Yeah.
And people buy into this idea where they love the idea that celebrities are all fun, like hang out together.
They don't.
Which like why does that give you joy?
Exactly.
Like
it's
you're
weird.
not involved.
It's weird.
You're right, Olivia Claire. Sorry.
But she did this song with T-Pain, and I guess afterwards they both hated it, and now neither will speak about it. So there's like Taylor Swift edgelords will go like when you go to a Taylor Swift concert. I have no idea why I know this, by the way. And they dress up in their Taylor Swift era. Like the edgelords will dress up in her Thug Story era from what she wore in that music video. with T-Pain. It's really bad.
I love it.
It sounds like it was good.
I mean,
I like Taylor Swift. I like T-Pain.
I'd be willing to bet anything that it was the
What could go wrong?
idea
No,
of someone at their label.
It was
Neither
a
of
label
those two.
idea.
Yeah, a Thug Story. That was definitely the label.
Yeah, it's funny in an ironic way, but it's in 2009 it was funnier. Now with the curtain pulled back, you're like, his agent called her agent. They agented together, and they brought them in to make this thing that's very much a corporate product. So, all right, let's go ahead and move on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's talk about Oliver Anthony again, because he is breaking down barriers between politics, culture, pop culture, all these things. Because last night at the GOP debates, they asked the people, the many people on the stage, they said, why do you think this song, Rich Men North of Richmond, is resonating so much with the general public?
Because everyone hates the government.
Because everybody hates the government, right?
They directed this question first at DeSantis. Why is this song striking such a nerve in this country right now? What do you think it means? And his answer, you want to watch the video? His answer literally didn't address the song at all.
He's like, he's like, hold on, I've got lockjaw.
I feel like he maybe didn't hear the song before then.
That's way I like him way more if DeSantis is like, what song?
I just thought it would be so funny if Chris Christie was like, well, I actually haven't heard of that song before. This is the first you're telling me of this. But from that excerpt,
I'm going for aloof on the debate stage. I'm going for aloof. Yeah, let's watch the clip here. All right.
You got mortgage rates at 78% versus 2 to 3. It's just you can't afford the house anymore.
Inflation is ridiculous. It's killing us out here.
As we sit here tonight, the #1 song on the Billboard chart is called Rich Men North of Richmond. It is by a singer from Farmville, Virginia, named Oliver Anthony. His lyrics speak of alienation, of deep frustration with the state of government and of this country. Washington, D.C. is about 100 miles north of Richmond.
These rich men north of Richmond, Lord knows they all just want to have total control, want to know what you think.
they pan to all of their facial reactions. And DeSantis is just like,
that you do. Dollar ain't shit, and it's taxed to no end. All the rich men, all the rich men.
They're such reptiles. So funny.
Why is this?
Vivek is the only one who like mimics being human fairly well. Like
Vivek's teeth are powered by like batteries.
Song striking
Like they're
such a nerve
LEDs.
in this country right now. What do you think it means?
I mean, the fact that he's
Our
a little,
country
he's
is
got
in
olive colored skin
decline.
doesn't help. But
This decline is not inevitable. It's a choice. We need to send Joe Biden back to his basement and reverse American decline.
What does that have to do with the song?
And the crowd just roars. And I'm like, it takes so little to excite people these days.
What is it weird now? Can anybody think of another time? Like I didn't pay close attention when I was
yeah, we
really
got a $20 one.
Oh yes, from
sorry,
Patriot
I
American.
missed that. He said, Phil, if the current Star Wars series is directed, written, or produced by Dave Filoni or Jon Favreau, please just have a little faith in them, because unlike Kathleen Kennedy and the rest of them, they're not woke.
I completely understand what you're saying, and I would give Jon Favreau or Filoni the benefit of the doubt and would watch whatever they produce. But as long as Kathleen Kennedy's there, I think that it's likely that the products are going to fall short of what I would hope for.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a fair way to say it.
Yep.
Not saying that they wouldn't have anything that I like, because I like the first season of The Mandalorian, but it's likely that they're going to, drop the ball with Kathleen Kennedy running
Her
the show.
claws are just sunk in
I
too
think
deep
so. I think
at
so.
this
They gotta
point,
get rid
you
of her.
think?
So, like, can you think of another time in the culture where something like entertainment played as big of a role in a debate like this?
You don't remember it being that way in 2020 or 2016?
I mean, it was more about Trump in 16. Like, I don't remember it being that way, but
It's like because Trump isn't there, what is there to talk about?
Yeah, kind of. Like in a lot of ways, it feels that way sometimes. Like
So first of all, the majority of people talking about last night are actually talking about the debate. They're
Yes.
not so much talking about Trump and Tucker, and that's most likely because Trump and Tucker didn't say anything new. They're kind of the dudes that are kind of holding the flag for the anti-establishment right now, but that doesn't mean that every time they get together or whatever, they are going to have a compelling conversation about things that people care about. And I think that people care more about I think people did care more about the debate because they were looking for new information from those people as opposed to the kind of standard stuff that they were getting what they expected from Trump. Trump didn't surprise anyone, and no one really kind of expected him to surprise anyone.
And right now, I did ask the chat, I said, what did you watch last night? I do apologize, I didn't put neither as an option. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Golf claps.
Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much. All right. So I asked everybody, I said, what did you watch last night? And right now, with 35%, they're saying Trump and Tucker. 33% say both, and
if it was neither,
say
comment.
just the GOP debate.
Represent watching neither.
Yes. And it just seems to me like a lot of it is what I was seeing coming up on Twitter, because I wasn't watching the debate, but I was following a little bit of it on Twitter, people having their stuff to say. They're saying it just feels like drama these days. It's people taking shots at one another. Not a lot of questions are getting answered. And it does feel, and I think Tim said this in the after show last night, which I don't always catch, but I think I caught it the other day. It's like WWE. Most of it does feel like pro wrestling these days because people have turned politics into a spectator sport. Mm-hmm. So it's not hard to believe that things like music and television have become frontline issues when everyone knows that takes your eye off the ball, which is actual policy.
It's all because of Bill Clinton too.
You think it's all because of that damn saxophone?
Sax on MTV.
It's the damn. Well, it's like
I smoked pot and sax on MTV did it.
But he didn't inhale.
Everyone knew he lied.
But it's funny too because I still remember like some of my earliest thoughts politically. I'm younger, so like some of my earlier thoughts politically were like in like when Obama first got elected, and I was like, why is this guy doing so many late night appearances? Doesn't he have a job to do?
Why is he smooth jamming the news?
Yes, and in a lot of ways. Also, I posted an old. It's just. I yearn for the time when the country made more sense as like a cohesive unit. I reposted an old video from when Kirby Puckett retired. He's a baseball player. He played for the Minnesota Twins back in the 80s and the 90s. On the 87 and the 91 World Series teams. And some of the clips that were intercut in this montage of him from his career was the U.S. team, was the Twins at the White House during George Bush Sr. When you win a World Series, you win a national championship for a lot of these sports teams, they get to go meet the president, right? And there's a clip of him, at the White House with George Bush. And I just think about a time when the country felt a little bit less divided, right? Mm-hmm. You could at least cohesively come together amongst the idea that this was the guy who led the country. But now,
or is that just because he stood for less?
The Bush stood for us. Yeah.
Than almost any president.
My nostalgic side would like to believe that we were just more cohesive as a country.
In the 80s and 90s, we were more cohesive. There's no question about it. Like the United States nowadays very strongly feels like there are two different Americas, and in 1992, 3, 4, 5, that really didn't feel like that. And I think the partisanship. A lot of it comes from, cell phones and the internet and stuff. But back then, everybody kind of had a similar concept that liberalism was kind of the good thing. And the conservatives weren't like they were the conservatives that were like Christians and stuff like that. But it didn't feel like they were trying to control thought the way they did. They were trying to keep people away from, doing too much drugs, and they were trying to keep people away from pornography and stuff.
What about the rock
swears
music?
And stuff? Yeah, and swears and stuff. But it wasn't like they were trying to control people's minds. Yeah. There was no effort in the 80s or 90s to try to brainwash people. And the whole trans women are women is an assertion that you must conceptualize trans women as actual women. That is an attempt at controlling your mind, controlling what you think. And that's something that's happening more and more in society. And I think that that's where the polarization comes from. One side wants to control what you think. And that's why the song, they want to control what you think, control what you do. That's why it speaks to so many people.
I think both sides, like if social media existed in the 80s, I think it would still be, I think it still would have happened, right? I think both sides would have tried to use it to their advantage back then.
I disagree because of the time, because of the stuff that's been taught in schools, because of Paulo Freire and all the stuff that got started in the 80s and 90s. You don't get the type of reaction from society that you get today without 30 years of Marxist schooling.
You don't think that the power-hungry politicians and people in the media would have tried to use it to their advantage 30 years ago?
They didn't have the foundation.
It wasn't there yet.
The foundation was being laid in the 80s and 90s. It didn't get into colleges until the 90s. Okay. And then
but they were being taught by boomers.
Pardon me? Who's they?
The kids in college in the 90s.
So the so in the 90s,
getting taught by radical boomers.
So they were being taught, but the radicals didn't start to really get into the sociology departments until the early 90s. So Paulo Freire laid the foundation. George Lukács, or no, maybe it wasn't George Lukács. Paulo Freire's book started to make and his influence started in the 90s, or started in the 80s, and got into colleges of education in the 90s. So the foundation for all of this stuff, it all was laid in the 90s. And so we wouldn't have, if we had social media 50 or 30 years ago and it started in the 90s, you wouldn't have the reaction, because the fundamental concept that people had of America wasn't the concept that the government should take care of you the way that it is nowadays. If you got 20 and 30-year-olds nowadays that are like, the government should provide this. 30 years ago in like 1993, that was not something that people thought. The idea of universal health care was not something discussed in the majority of society in the early 90s. So these ideas weren't really there.
Our health care really went belly up in 2008, right? Like more so after Obamacare was passed, and it got more and more unreasonable.
I don't know, but you didn't hear, but I didn't hear people talking about having socialized or universal health care until at least the 2000s.
Yeah.
And it was after, Mitt Romney started in Massachusetts, and that was like in, 07, 08 or something like that. So
also, I saw this article from Breitbart that's saying that Oliver Anthony is now reportedly making $40,000 a day from Richmond, north of Richmond. I want to know how.
Is this accurate?
Like, Phil, is it possible that this dude is making $40,000 a day?
He doesn't have physical sales.
I don't think so.
Yeah, it says the 30.
Streaming doesn't make any money for artists now. I feel like this is when you Google somebody's net worth, and then Google will just make up some random number.
I don't know for sure what he's getting a lot of spins, right? But I know that, and I don't know, but I don't know what kind of, money he makes.
That's an insane amount of money to think like that you'd be making per day.
What do you do to appeal to a working class fan base if you're not going to be working class anymore?
I mean,
well, so he's writing from a working class perspective. It's going to be at least a few years or another album's worth of stuff before he would run out of topics that are related to what he experienced as a working class guy. So what I mean is,
this happens to rappers a lot.
It happens to me when I read, because I'm like, most of all that remains fairly successful stuff is actually like love songs, and like if I haven't been in a tumultuous relationship, like Taylor Swift, like the reason that people can relate to her stuff is because everyone can kind of relate to being in a tumultuous relationship, or most people can.
You think she ever like just one day met a guy who was too nice, and she's like, I'm not going to get any albums out of that. I'm not.
Probably.
Swipe left.
It was Taylor Lautner.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into trying to diagnose what's wrong with Taylor Swift, but Taylor Swift has she's got an emotional thing going on.
We got a $20 super chat there from Patriot American.
He said, Weathermen and Underground, or what was left of it, info sprayed is this is a lot.
Sprays it in universities.
Yeah. Among other organizations to try and radicalize the next generation of used to be just like them hence why we have BLM and Antifa now.
Yes.
There was an
Oh,
old
we got another one. Sorry.
Before we read that one, just like there was an old episode, and I don't remember. It was like it was one of the Boomer shows, right? It's one of those Boomer shows that I love that everybody makes fun of me for loving for. And they actually did an episode on a radical leftist college professor. This is in like 2011, right? Where basically they find out that this dude at the end of the episode, he did commit the crime. They arrest him, whatever, and basically he points out, he goes, "You don't understand how many seeds I've sown in the 20 years I've been in education." And I was always shocked that they were willing to put that on television. And the name of the group, and it was an old NCIS Los Angeles episode, and the name of the group that he was a member of was named after Mao. And this was on a network show in the 2010s. I would have never thought they would have done anything like that. It was crazy.
This one from Derek Fanbecker, I guess that's how it's said. Not only are people hungry for patriotic messages, but good movies and real music, 1984 is failing.
I mean, yeah, Top Gun Maverick, I think the success of Top Gun Maverick and the relative failure of Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning proves to you that in America, there's a strong desire for patriotic films, or at least...
Not a strong desire for Tom Cruise, a strong desire for...
Well, that's wrong. That's just wrong.
Don't denigrate men. Honestly, Top Gun Maverick was not nearly as in-your-face patriotic as the first Top Gun, and I'm sure that was on purpose. It was also, I mean, the first Top Gun was sentimental, but Top Gun Maverick went like way overboard with like very sentimental, sweet, saccharine messaging, which was nice. It was emotional. It was nice.
Take that, Russia.
It wasn't as patriotic though.
Yeah.
Because you really can't get away with that.
I'm sorry, but at the end of it, when he's riding off in the motorcycle with Jennifer Connelly, I'm like, the straight dude who's good at his job got the woman. Like, what the frick just happened? Like, I was waiting for him.
And young people respected the older person.
I was waiting for him to crash.
They respected the senior person. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy.
You would not see that.
So maybe that's what they're saying here. Is like, what we need is people that are willing to make music that shows that you don't just hate your country, because that's what it seems like they want, right?
Yes.
They want things that show that you hate your country.
Everybody is so cynical nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, cynicism is the driving motivation, it seems like, for most of Gen Z. Definitely.
Do you think that's a lot of that is like, and I think a lot of that people's like the thing that they always draw back to when they talk about this, like, look, they're never going to own a home. They can't afford insurance.
I think it's nihilism.
But where do you think it comes from? Where does it stem from? Does it stem from the fact that they're constantly being beaten down with propaganda that says you're never going to own a home, marriage is
existential
going to be
dread. There's no. I don't think that economic factors really have a significant impact on people's overall happiness. I think that what makes people happy is interpersonal connections and their relationship with other people.
I think their phones are doing it then. They're spending more time on their phone and less time with actual people.
Have you seen how much content
Possibly.
Gen Z makes about romanticizing your own life? Like, that's not a very cynical exercise, right?
I mean, just the fact that you're making it a product for consumption almost adds a tinge of cynicism to it to me.
They make TikToks about like how to romanticize going on a walk, how to romanticize.
It's like they're searching for it.
You know, like how to romanticize working out, how to romanticize driving to work, like all of these things, because I guess they feel so empty inside.
Yeah, because romanticism is a rejection of romanticism is like an idealized version of reality and stuff, and so like that's a rejection of the real. Like, it's a rejection of the actual reality that we live in, and I think that is because without some kind of religion to kind of tell you that things are going to be okay, life is pretty nihilistic. I mean, read some Schopenhauer. Like, that guy was the king of pessimism. And essentially he's like, look, everyone dies. Everything that you try to do fails eventually. Everything falls apart. And, and without a religion to tell people that that there is a meaning to your life, people are just like, there's no meaning. And if there's no meaning, then you have no reason to be anything but jaded, nihilistic.
That's why I love the show House. The whole show is just an exercise in nihilism. There it is. Reset the Clock. I finally mentioned it. It's been a couple episodes.
Oh yeah.
But also,
well, I'm not a House fan like you, but isn't the show showing that House's nihilism is not the way to approach life.
Yes, but he's still the main character who's romanticized because of how good he is at his job. So it's like, if at the end of the day, like, his nihilism is why he's so good at getting other people out of their problems. Also, they diagnose most of the human condition as nihilistic and hypocritical. But another thing that I think it is like we're growing up in the generations now where prior to Gen X, you didn't grow up necessarily with movies, you grew up reading. And I think nowadays a lot of people are growing up watching they grew up watching romanticized versions of their lives in movies. So it's like when your romantic relationships don't rise to the story of a romantic comedy with the outcome you're really looking for at the end, where the music swells and you end up perfectly happy and in love, people end up being let down by just how average and normal the real world is, because they're bombarded with over-the-top examples of what it could be, but those aren't reality. And I think that that's a bit depressing sometimes for some people. Maybe that's just like a self-diagnosis to me, but I feel like that's something that would resonate with people, right? Like, if you watch a lot of movies and television, there's plenty of people out there who watch more movies and television than me that would be looking for that in their lives, not realizing that that's not real.
I think that you may be onto something, but like what Mary was saying, talking about romanticizing their own lives, or how to romanticize stuff. I feel like that's so that way they can put stuff on the internet that makes their life look better than it is. So that way, at least when they look at their Instagram page, their life looks good. Because they're
looking at nothing but travel influencers whose whole lives are supposedly these amazing trips and these amazing experiences. There's a $20 one there from The Last of My Kind.
He said the rumor was that they cut a deal with Disney to keep Kathleen Kennedy out of Ahsoka by giving her a new show called Acolyte to fill with her wokeism. Also, the male crew members that are missing, Ezra, Zeb, and Rex.
I love the idea that like it's now like a bargaining position, like in your contract meetings, like woke, and then it says like trademark, and then they have to like describe what that means. In your contract dispute, when she's like, fine, I'll give you this show. I'll let you make this show, but I get to make this show about this. I don't know, man. It's I think it's all of it's a little bit depressing, because we look at the world on our phones now, and so much of what you're looking at is manufactured content that's designed to get you to emote something, whatever that emotion is. It's like those, you know what Instagrams do really, really well are the 90s nostalgia channels. Where it's literally a dude. It's just like things from the 90s you forgot existed, and then a 90s song plays, and it's a picture of the lunchroom you were in. It's a picture of what you. It's literally just pictures of what you ate for lunch in the 90s.
Graduating classes in the 80s, 90s, or 2000s always go viral.
I love those.
I've even seen them as late as like graduating class of 2009 videos that people took on their cell phones, and that goes viral with Gen Z, and they're like, I so would have rather gone to high school in this time period.
I look at those and I'm like, look how thin everyone is.
That's true.
Oh God,
that's true.
The condition that America is in is it's depressing.
It's I look at those videos and I see, you get a core memory. You see a girl with the bell bottoms that are just soaking wet because they went over her shoes, and like you walk through a puddle and you're just like, or it's like they show like it's like how to know what income bracket your family was in. It's like, did you have Rose Art crayons? Yeah, you were poor because Rose Art crayons were awful. Nobody actually wanted them. Or you had one of those erasers that didn't erase anything. It just wrecked the paper. And you look at that and you go down a weird nostalgia spiral, and those channels do huge numbers. So, all right, let's go to Super Chats.
Okay. Shane H. Wilder said, I mean, Alice Cooper is an old school conservative Christian. I'm not shocked at all. He does have a new album dropping tomorrow also.
I'm picturing
Maybe that's why he said it. He was like, I have an album dropping. People need to get talking about me.
Smart.
Transgenderism is stupid.
I hate, he says like, it's dumb. And now he should go perform Feed My Frankenstein. Yeah.
Shane H. Wilder said, dog, just say you don't like fatties. It's fine.
That's what the kid should have said. The kid should have just said that.
Yeah.
But he was being ambushed. And I also like how the girl is like, is this too much for you?
Yes.
I was like, yes, it is absolutely too much for me.
Also kind of a weird thing to say, because she looks like she's in her 20s. He looks like he's 12 years old.
Yeah.
The Last of My Kind said, tape a square on the ground. A cat will sit on it. Is that true?
I've also heard, I've also heard that like you shouldn't use the red laser pointers with them because it can drive them insane.
You got to give them treats.
Yeah.
So you can use the red laser pointer, but you hide a treat.
Messes up their neural pathways, their reward systems.
Yeah, so you can mess with them with the thing, but you have to have a treat, and then you put the thing around the treat, so that way they find the treat and then the reward, and it's okay. But if you're just
But
giving
the
them,
fun part is driving them crazy.
well, drive them crazy for a little. No.
I won't do it.
You're evil.
Shane H. Wilder said, "Am I wrong for wanting to meme Ron over never gonna give you up now?"
No, you're not wrong.
You're not wrong. He's he really is he really is memeable. It is also proof that it doesn't matter how good you are at something, politics will ruin you, because he did a good job all on his own, and now it's just not working, man. It just doesn't work. On the national stage, it's just very different.
Connor Doyle said, "Keep thinking new Ahsoka villain looks like Mary."
Is that
I don't know who the villain is.
Somebody should do a Photoshop. Somebody should make.
Do you know who the villain is?
Somebody should make some fan art. Let's hold off on the rest, and we will come back after we're done. Tell us what's going on with Logan Paul.
Okay, so Logan Paul and Dillon Danis are still having their fight in October, but they just did the press conference for their fight the other day. Right? Like, there's still so much time for this to continue getting worse.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
The public sentiment is still in Dillon Danis' favor, and it's funny because he was the unknown competitor here. A lot of people hadn't heard of Dillon Danis before this happened, and he's completely shifted the conversation by memeing on Logan Paul and letting the whole world know that his fiance has a very, very long list of ex-lovers, including people like Leonardo DiCaprio, LeBron James, Nick Cannon, Ja Rule even.
Hey man, Firefest 2's coming, so Logan's better watch out because Ja Rule might take her there. I mean, also, those tickets sold out.
For
Firefest 2.
Firefest?
Firefest 2 tickets sold out.
Really?
Yep.
That's crazy.
I hope you guys got your tickets.
That's crazy. So let's just react to some of the videos from this press conference. Logan Paul, by the way, because it was Dillon Danis' birthday, bought an $8,000 cake for Dillon Danis, shaped as his body knocked out on the ground.
I think that the socialists in the communists should get mad at him for spending money unnecessarily. Just like, actually, this is a complete aside, but I thought about this the other day. There's a litmus test now for like how involved in the culture war you are. You know that article that came out about Billie Eilish flying economy. So I figure like you can.
How did that happen?
You can gauge where you are in your cultural, like where you are in the culture by what that headline makes you think. Do you think that they're praising her because she's being frugal and she's being humble, or are they praising her because of climate change and she's not flying a private jet?
Climate change.
But I'm saying like there's people that are just saying like, oh, she's so humble. She's not flying private when she could.
I don't think Billie Eilish is in any position to fly in commercial airplanes.
Yeah, you'd think she would.
Without causing havoc.
All right, so let's go ahead and watch this first clip here.
There we go. You don't gotta take that shit out on me because my brother hooked up with your ex.
At least I got rid of this. You're marrying one.
Dillon. You ain't ever been with any girl as beautiful as my girl.
Yeah, okay.
My lovely
Every
fiance,
single guy in
my
New York is
sweetheart,
good
who I
with
love
me.
so much.
Relax.
My superstar, whose apartment costs more than your entire net
Yeah,
worth.
Leonardo DiCaprio paid for it.
Broke ass bitch. You don't got.
Why is it a comeback to say that your fiance's apartment costs a lot of money?
Did he pay for it?
I'm confused.
It's
like if two girls were fighting and one girl said like her man was richer than the other girl's man, I guess that would work. But no one cares whether his fiance is rich or not. That's not the point of the argument.
Mary was just low key calling him a girl.
I guess so.
Yeah,
it's kind of a feminine debate tactic.
Yeah. She was low key calling Logan Paul a girl.
All right, here we go.
Okay, I am those tears because of Nina, huh?
Hey, we got the real fighter.
Oh, here we go.
In the house. Yeah, Dillon Danis, the real fighter who got choked out by a bouncer in a club.
Your girl got fucked by 75 guys before you married her. Shut the fuck up. Okay.
Brutal, man.
People, I just feel like this wouldn't be made into a meme in like the 2010s or in the 2000s. right?
Yeah.
Like I saw this take from Brittany Martinez. She said the Logan Paul Nina Agdal incident is an interesting case study of a societal shift. 10 years ago, you'd rarely see men shaming other men for hooking up with hot women, regardless of body count. It simply wasn't mentioned. Now men are calling out promiscuity and shaming other men who are choosing to be with women that have slept around. And I brought up the possibility that this is indicative of a cultural consensus shifting on maybe not sexual morality, but just walking away from the extreme end where we're allowing everything and permitting and celebrating everything.
Yeah.
And you seem to think it's not the case.
I think this is. I still think that this is more indicative of just trash talk within a fight. I don't think it's a
But
cultural
would that
shift.
same type of trash talk happen like 10 years ago, 20 years ago?
Well, also remember this, like this isn't, like Logan Paul's not like really a fighter, right? This is still a show.
An exhibition.
And Dillon Danis is not, like they're doing boxing and Dillon is known for BJJ, if I understand correctly. So this is a show. So this is part of what the thing is. I feel like the talking smack, it's not like they're getting into the octagon or they're going to go to do BJJ. It's boxing, which is why like it's exhibition and stuff. So I feel like that's part of the it's part of the intent of doing it is the smack talk.
Do you think they're in on it together for a
No,
marketing fight?
I think that they go into it knowing there's going to be smack talking. I don't think that they're being like, yo, I'm going to say this, and they're laughing about it. I think that
I'm
this
sure
is
they
pretty
expected
brutal.
trash talk, but Logan seems very unprepared for this.
Yeah,
like,
Dillon Danis is going
he's
hard.
definitely letting people know that Dillon Danis has gotten under his skin.
Yeah.
And into his mind. He's like winning that mind game.
Back in the day, Chris Jericho used to make fun of Stephanie McMahon on WWE by calling her, I literally can't say the words, but they were all words for a woman that slept around. And even back, it's like a fever dream. Like when in storyline, Triple H was like feuding with Stephanie, even though he's married to her in real life, he basically calls her like, he calls her vagina the Grand Canyon. And he's married to her in real life.
It was the best time for WWE.
It was
the
incredible.
best.
But the point is, they were calling her names and basing it around her being promiscuous. And this was in 2001, in 2002.
I don't feel like I feel like Mary's got a point though about Logan's reaction. I do feel like Dillon is getting under Logan's skin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But
When it's only fair because Logan Paul is doing the same tactic on him.
Yes.
Jake Paul, it's true. Jake Paul did hook up with Dillon Danis' ex and post that all over social media. And Logan Paul is guilty of the same thing when he hooked up with his own little brother's ex and put her in his music video as a diss track on his own little brother.
Look, I mean, it's like, yeah.
Dillon Danis is also posting saying like, he kicked off one of his co-hosts on Impulsive for being Christian. I don't know if that's true.
Look,
but
this is all well and good, and it's like, men, boys behaving badly and stuff, but none of this is like Guns N' Roses. So this is all, it's all
petty.
It's petty, and it's not like actually having sex with a girl that was dating someone in your band and putting her moans on the record. Okay, that actually happened. Guns N' Roses did that. So
we've got a $20 one from Patriot American.
Go for it.
Her name's Shin Hati. I'll post a pic on X and tag y'all in it for you guys to see, and maybe you guys can show it on the stream tomorrow.
Yeah, somebody should do fan art of Mary. Also, here's this clip, guys. I thought you'd like this. This was in 2002, I believe.
But she's very sensitive. Stephanie is very delicate. She's like a little flower. Flower? I'd have to say that little
Why Wait, what?
Hold on.
Maybe you don't think it bothers her, but she's very sensitive. Stephanie is very delicate. She's like a little flower. Flower? I'd have to say that little Steffi baby lost her flower a long time ago.
a long time ago.
How do you do?
Chris Jericho's great.
I mean, how else do do you think she became a filthy, dirty, disgusting, skanky, brutal, bottom-feeding trash bag hoe in the first place?
This was like, this was in the early 2000s. So, you held women accountable even in storyline for their body counts back then.
If people go back and look at the stuff that John Cena used to say, oh God, it was like, it would literally, like 20-year-olds or 25-year-olds would flip out if they watched that stuff. It was brutal.
It was amazing. And to be fair,
I guess maybe that's just like a sign that we moved away from that into a time of higher sensitivity, and now we're coming out of that.
And the best part is just remember, they're acting, so she has to be okay with that being her real name. And then and this was at a time when they still encouraged kayfabe, right? So there was a blending of the lines, a blurring of the lines. You didn't know what was real and what was fake quite at that time. At least the normies didn't. And they had to be okay. Vince McMahon had to be okay with being seen as just the world's worst boss, probably because he was a bit of an office tyrant anyways, because you have to be to run a company that size in a lot of ways. But Stephanie had to be okay with them taking those shots at her in storylines. So
let's react to the cake fight on stage. Speaking of petty.
Okay, here we go.
He's like, hold me back, bro.
It actually is exactly that, too. He's jumping up and down in the guy's arms. It is literally the hold me back, bro. Look, a lot of this, to me, just seems very, very performative in a lot of ways. Like, I get that what he's doing is taking shots. But what happened with Creator Clash and the dude's wife, the OnlyFans? Remember that?
Wait, what? The guy that runs Creator Clash, iDubbbz, his wife has an OnlyFans. A lot of people have clowned on him for that. And he banned people that even associated with anyone.
That's not the plug, is it?
That said that.
What?
That's not the plug, is it?
No, that's not.
Okay.
It's Anissa Joma or whatever.
But the point is, he was calling out her being promiscuous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody's got an OnlyFans.
Same situation.
Yeah, everyone does, basically. No, it's like, that's one of the, I read a comment the other day that said something that's like, what do you expect when the number one source of income in America for women now is OnlyFans? And everyone knows that's not true. But if you're...
Thank you.
Yes! But it's like in a permanently online culture.
Yeah.
It's party time.
The red pill guys and the OnlyFans girls are in a weird symbiotic relationship where they need each other to continue existing.
They do.
I mean, specifically, how would shows like Fresh and Fit or whatever fill their seats if there weren't hoes out here trying to promote their OnlyFans?
They wouldn't.
It's true.
Exactly.
They're in a symbiotic relationship and they need each other to justify their own existences.
But with the internet the way it is, like, algorithms have convinced people that this is how normal women make money, and everyone knows that that's not true. But you have to get off your phone and go out into the real world to realize that.
Yeah. So here are some of the comments. Dillon Danis really messed with his head. He won the mental battle. All the fake laughing and bravado from Logan Paul is a way to hide his anger and show that he's not bothered, but deep down he's anxious. What else Dillon has under his Twitter belt? Yeah, what other pictures can he post?
He's got like private, he's like hiring private investigators.
Literally,
to go look into it. Like,
bro is wearing sunglasses to hide his tears. He also called Dillon Danis Dillon Donuts, which is the saddest diss I've ever heard.
It's like I feel like that's what Ron DeSantis would use as if Ron DeSantis tried to insult Trump, he'd use
Donut Trump.
But donuts are good.
Yeah.
True. And then let's play the clip of Logan Paul finally responding to all of this. Yeah. I think it's really despicable that he didn't try to defend his own fiance for quite a while until now.
All right, here we go.
I know who Nina is. She knows who I am. We've been so transparent about each other's past. She's a fucking angel. She's had long-term boyfriends her whole life. Every guy in the world wants to date her. Only a few could and say they got to. I'm the one that was lucky enough to lock her down. And it's so stupid that I have to come on here and like clarify the fact that my supermodel girlfriend, who's had an amazing career and has built an amazing life for herself, got paparazzi with her exes. Like, Yeah, she took pictures with her exes. Yes, guys came up to her and wanted to take photos, including LeBron, who fucking came up to her and wanted a photo. Yes, she's done professional modeling shoots and
Not
some
buying
provocative
it.
shit because it gets clicks. Like, she's in the industry, she's in Hollywood. And again, it's so stupid I have to clarify this, but like, me and Nina are good. We fucking love the shit out of each other. She's my fiance. I cannot wait to marry her. And Dillon just takes it below the belt. And, bro, at one point I was the most hated person on the planet, right? I don't give a fuck what anyone says, you know? You're not me. You don't know my life. You don't know Nina. You don't know me. So shut the fuck up. Live your life. You can comment on mine, but at the end of the day, I don't give a fuck.
Do you buy it?
What else is he
Are you
supposed to say?
buying what he's
What else is he
selling here?
supposed to say?
Well, I mean, I think that he's got to say that. I think it's pretty obvious that it gets under his skin that Dillon Danis is doing this. He's got a long way to go,
I mean,
too.
if
It's
he
not
actually-
stopping.
If he actually cares about his fiance, it should bother him that
Yeah.
all of this stuff is being said about
Yeah.
her. So don't even try to put it out there that you don't care.
Reminds me of the Chris Rock skit where he talks about like why would you ask a woman her number? He says women won't tell you how many men she slept with. She'll tell you how many boyfriends she had. She's only had long-term boyfriends.
Yeah,
That's all
why
he's
is
gonna
it?
talk
Why
about.
is the definition of being an effing angel having long-term boyfriends your entire life? That sounds like a flag, like a red flag to me, that you can't keep any long-term relationship that you attempt, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. I don't know. It's,
That's the definition of being an angel these days?
Not everybody's. I mean, would it be better if she was also promiscuous and not in long-term relationships? I don't think that would be any better, would it?
No, it would
Okay,
be worse,
so
obviously.
I
But,
guess
I mean, serial monogamy is just as much of a recreation for people these days, you know?
Serial monogamy. Yeah, I think so.
Well,
A lot of women who are addicted to the drama of being in relationships over and over again, having on and off exes. It's a thing.
It's a thing.
I think that Logan Paul really should have spoken in defense of her earlier. Like, either dump her or defend her, but you can't just sit there silently sending out cease and desist letters, trying to report this
that
guy for
kinda stuff.
harassment on Twitter. It's making you look pathetic and scared.
Mary's 100%. Well, I'm not sure about the scared, but it makes him. It does look lame. It does look bad. Like if you're going to play in the arena where this kind of stuff goes on, right? Like you're going to go and get into, boxing matches, and he does pranks on people and he talks smack on people on the internet. Like that's his forte too, right? Like Logan Paul's not the dude that doesn't do this kind of stuff. So it's like, look, man, you made this your career, so it's what you're going to get. So.
All right, let's go to Super Chats because we got to be done by 5 today.
Yeah, I got to get out of here.
Grofty said, Tide Pods, so good. Yum. What the hell is going on?
Tide Pods are good.
Yeah, yesterday we covered the Borax challenge that's going around on TikTok.
I don't even want to know.
You don't. It's going to make you, just like the OnlyFans stuff makes people sad for humanity. It's the people drinking poison because Twitter and Instagram and TikTok told them to do so. That's what makes me sad.
Not only for a challenge, but because it's healthy.
Because it's supposedly healthy, yeah.
Disco Jensen said, oh no, my poor life choices have ruined opportunities for me. The only way to stem the tide of systemic oppression is more government.
I like a Disco Jensen.
Corey Anderson said, I just got back from Guam. 2 things. Your show comes in at, what is this? 500 on the next day. And for some reason there was
05 in the morning.
Oh, 5 in the morning the next day. And for some reason there was no super chat button available. Couldn't figure it out.
Oh, wonder where that is.
Grofty said, I got the box of party stuff. I'll start pulling.
And then he says grunts.
Disco Jensen said, there are only 6 canon Star Wars movies, 1 special exception for Rogue One, only 3 Indiana Jones movies. Disney and Kathleen Kennedy burned the brands.
Yeah, I watched The Last Crusade the other night. You can always just stick with the originals. A lot of people don't even believe that you should include the prequels, but they just do because they were George Lucas, right? But a lot of people are like, look, I'll just stick to the original 3. Let's do one more, and then we will...
I think we've just got to go through the Super Chats.
Okay.
Grofty, I'm making the executive decision. Grofty said, something has got me blocked on the side. Can someone clear the side out? Box is heavy, but I pull. Grofty said, thanks for the cover. I will proceed forward. Who are you talking to?
Disco Jensen.
Disco Jensen said, pretty soon American politics will be reduced to Twix beefs and diss tracks, and I'm here for it. Camacho 2028.
I'm kind of okay with that.
I'm okay with the name Twix.
I'm okay with just rap. Like Vivek already did his Eminem impression.
Hilarious.
Like let's just get freestyle rap battles.
That was not hilarious. That was cringe.
Like
I mean, things can be cringe and hilarious at the same time. Like
that just
those things are
wasn't
not.
it. That was pure cringe.
They're not mutually exclusive, Mary. Come on.
Grofty said, "I push." Dr. Larsina? I don't know if that's right, but he said, Brett, what you're really saying is that their relationships are mid.
I don't remember what that was in context with, but I can't seem to. I would not dare to judge somebody else's relationship because I can't know what their relationship is.
Grofty, I don't want to read that. It seems like you're making references. Corey Anderson said Dillon Danis is known in the fighting world. He is a legit BJJ player.
But that won't matter because they're boxing, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's part of why, like, none of this stuff is too serious because it's all exhibition stuff. It's like, you know, Logan Paul, he may be a good boxer and he trains hard and stuff, but you're still not actually getting into the official boxing stuff. And so anyways.
Ryle Kittenhouse, I have no idea how to pronounce this. Do you guys?
Nope.
I don't know. Disco Jensen said thought crimes are already a thing. Nobody ever actually reads the terms and conditions they agree to on platforms like YouTube, Twitter, and Windows.
Oh, yeah. Like
Windows. Well, yeah. That's
I saw a thing the other day. It said like I have officially found the most 90s thing ever, and it's a VHS. It's a VHS tutorial tape on how to use Windows 95.
Wait, what?
It's a VHS tape that explains how to use Windows 95.
That's useful. The last of my kind said DeSantis smiles like a T-800.
Yeah, he's giving Terminator vibes in a lot of ways. All right, let's just quick go through it. Mary, tell us all about.
No, we're not. We don't have time.
You don't have time.
We don't have time.
It doesn't need to be 10 minutes. We can talk about AI Jesus.
We don't have time. We'll save it for tomorrow.
All right, Phil, my friend, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me on the Twitter or the X or the Twix, whichever you want to call it. I am at Phil That Remains. I am at Phil That Remains Official on Instagram. The band is All That Remains. You can find us on Apple Music, on Amazon Music, on YouTube, Spotify, Pandora, you know, the internet.
All right, perfect. Mary, where can they find you?
Let's get right into it. You can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on Twix. I guess we're going to be calling it that. Also at Mary Archived.
All right, guys. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter/X, whatever you want to call it. I'll just call it Twitter/X. At Pop Culture, at Brett Dastovic on both of those platforms. This show is here Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is noon Pacific. And if you'd like to listen to the audio version of this podcast, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcast, Pandora, and Spotify. If you want to follow the show on social media, we are on Twitter/X at PopCulture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Later.
Bye.